Good evening, everyone. Tonight's episode of Ain't No Money Motivation, we will be talking about the importance of being yourself. Super cliche, right? Sure, but still super, super important. And I wanted to talk about this because this morning I was listening to this Eric Thomas video, and he said this line that literally made me pause. So I'll normally listen to a motivational video in the morning while I'm getting ready for work or whatever I'm doing that day. And again, I'm like busy, running around figuring out what I'm going to wear. But he said this line and it made me stop. He said, "You will never be the best copycat in the world, but you can be the best you." And again, this made me pause because since I am a social media strategist, I talk to a lot of my clients and my audience about the importance of being a thought leader and how you should be following thought leaders in your industry and seeing what they're doing and XYZ. And I also read a lot of personal development things and watch a lot of videos. And, I read books like, I'm a badass and making money and how to get rich and blah, blah, blah. And, there's a lot of really wealthy people out there, and they talk about how you can use this system and make money like they did. So the point I'm making is, while it is important to follow influencers in your industry, and while it is important for you to look at what other people who are successful at what you want to do are doing, do not get caught up in, number one, comparing yourself to them as far as, oh, look at where they are, I'm not there yet. Or don't get caught up in, oh, they're so perfect, I really want to be them. So even if you do every single thing they did, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the same results. And that's because these people got to where they are because they built their own following and they built their own audience and their own communications through the way they talk to people, by the way they talk to themselves. Who they are is the point I'm trying to make. Let me just use an example of someone I really love. I really love Nicole Walters, and I think she's really, really amazing. You should look at her if you don't know who she is. And while her and I do have similarities and, her values and things that she talks about, at the same time, I can admire her, and she gives a ton of advice to her rich friends, as she calls us. But I can never be her, and I shouldn't try to be her. I should try to be me, and you should try to be exactly who you are. Everyone was born with their own gift, and you need to hone in on your own gift. And whether it is the same gift as, your thought leader or whoever it is you are admiring, at the same time, you can't have their personality. You can't make people laugh the way they make people laugh. You have to make people laugh the way you make people laugh. Or if you're not funny, then you got to go with something else. But the bottom line is, don't try to just mimic everything else don't try to mimic things that everyone else does. Make sure that you're incorporating you in whatever you're doing. Because if you're not, number one, you won't end up liking it. You're going to end up hating it. And people can see right through that. Everyone wants authenticity these days. It's something else that's becoming a bit more cliche. But again, that's why a lot of people are seeing through a lot of ads, and that's why marketing is changing so much. It's because people want the real. People want to know what's you. And another reason why video marketing is also so effective is because people can see you and they can make that connection. So think about that the next time you're trying to do something someone else is doing, or you have a new idea and you're trying to talk out someone else is talking, or you're trying to use someone else's jokes. Just keep in mind that even if that does work in the short term, it's not going to work for you long term, because you can only be your best at being you. As Eric Thomas says, you will never be the best copycat in the world. So keep that in mind as you are on your personal development journey, as I try to keep that in mind as I am on my personal development journey. So as always, any questions, comments, concerns, you can always drop me a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, please tell me, like, comment, share, and otherwise I will see you guys next week for our next episode. Have a good evening.